Okay.
Thoma delani chanzo yung ni lobtu gege ni thamula distillation thoma denga ju sunzali shimune ni kiranzu de chungna tanda de mute shane abusu thama ke ma utapsi ke tu and then kiranzu de part to kind of the camera on chituna ni feel free nga tunda recording chidar kan sina loktu mangbo chit the zoma to do yoma to din kondu jelo chit ta chituni record chidere on the dictionary samsung on the chen chida kira the third hilin do jena kaptu nga tu chat na lu chi not audible good. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So sorry the chen some the
Yes.
kurang signing sir. If you can check that out. But yeah, like I said, kira the third hilin do na nga tu te ki sin chi chat na lu sha de nga tu tamatela link ne ki man link ke chigo chida nga tu tri chudu chik de cha ga chi che chi de ye ni material the mangbujita cover chiu de de la pa ni xiu xiu nga tu de ting sa de du maria gang la guan zu do lai che ni dj su tia nga zu tia tang jian chi de kiran zu on de chen dang zu gu zu sen de chen zum
Los. Slide chimba de mandu de kong enzo tanda min sama introduction china go to enzo introduction is ani kaden tanda keji shesa so kaden tanda ina chinj. You want to introduce yourself first?
Oh yeah, I apologize. Konda
Yeah.
당부 춘선 견진 키란 좀 못주다. 니디 나 어디 하고 고민도 사는 니디 수다 비쇼 되시는 거 같아. 키란 좀 찍고 주시는.
Los. Not audible. Might not connect to the audio. Okay. And someone just saying, "Gaming with Denzi Shunzumi and the Stanford University with the class of 25 me the Lorum Yiva Tasan not and the Lorum Sumbula Duguyan and the presentation the presentation 보러 같은데 인지 야가요 송아 인지 토나 기지시아이 아니 긴제
그래서 아니 사물로 아니 distillation 아니 믹스 로브라 하시 좀샤 아니 겔라다 아니 람도 겔란도 아니 가린체시라 아니 예명라 텐지 겐제이 아니 가 탄다 nga kesa ani lada che ani tanda phegim sujada ani selikuran lobjon che ani tichela ani sheri legun kune da ari da jamning kaza la lobra jamning thundi to lob yuro bisi la donjela ani loni lobjon che an tanda ari la ani McAllister College la ani lole seri lorim subai lobrushi 아니 단다 간조 선세 레시드 고츠네 로니 스토도 아니 디 믹세기 아니 단다디 제가 아니 사물 아니 다시레 아니 다행히 아니 간조기 sab종되니 페보요라시
아니 나랑 어디로 시나 조고 예밀라 간데 남게체 나라 옌디 진짜 중지 중이다 감스로 셀리고체 니 tandat lot to se di ni brown to lot to you ni tan lo sum ro che lo soni question ki ta rabian la chi mo ri china
사마레슬리 게밍 게시기에 아니 nga zo bir lagirio andijela bir lagine tisvi sujela joya an sujela di silajola di university suksa university to ani handa St. Lawrence University ari layo an nga ta thalo thangbo redela
My name is Arabyang and I'm a first year at Yale University and I grew up in South India. and I'm really excited to be here today to help answer any questions that you guys might have.
All right. I'll go ahead and share the screen again. Okay. So we split up this workshop into two parts. The first is going to be talking about the college applications, and the second is going to be talking more about financial aid and scholarships. So for the college applications portion of our workshop, we're going to be talking about things such as college search and building a list of colleges. Then we're going to talk about the types of college applications there are. And then we're going to be talking more a bit about the common application. And also a little bit, we're going to touch a bit on college interviews, as well as the general timeline of college applications. And then for the financial aid and scholarships portion, the second part of our workshop, we're going to be talking a little bit more about some of the ideas surrounding financial aid. We're going to be talking more about the types of financial aid there are. We're going to introduce you all to a little bit of the financial aid applications that exist, and then kind of give you some tips on once you do get a financial aid award, if you get accepted to a school, what it's like to appeal and try to get a better financial aid award. And then also at the end, we'll have some scholarship resources. So moving on to the first part of the college applications.
Yeah, so there's a lot of factors that you can consider when you're searching for colleges, and this is just a list of a few good ones that really helped me like pick like a college and find a bunch of colleges to apply to. So number one, it's location and distance. So it's how far it is from home, but it's also like what kind of amenities are like possible, like where that college is. And then the second part is obviously cost and financial aid. Like I know that was a really big determining factor when I was looking for colleges, because like based on my background, I knew that like I needed a lot more financial support, and that like schools such as my state schools wouldn't have been able to provide me with a whole lot of financial aid. And then class size, like for this one, I was thinking a lot about like if I would want to like be in the school where like I might know like everyone that's like walking by me, or like I would be able to meet a lot of like people like on a regular basis. So I opted for a middle-sized school so that like I could have the best of both worlds, so that I could have that social setting where like those like connections could still occur, but that I would still be meeting more people. But like in terms of academics, I knew that a really large class size would make it hard for me to like access things such as like my professors and academic resources, just because there's a whole lot of people. So yeah. And then extracurriculars, I think that it's important to recognize that like things you do outside of school, like that you're passionate about, like they change a little when you're in college, because now you can choose things that you're like very passionate about. You can find a focus. So I knew that I wanted to go to a school that would allow me to do that, and had a lot of resources specific to like immigration services. And that was just one thing. Campus life, it's really difficult to gauge that when you're just searching on a school's website, but like there's a lot of ways you can learn about like sort of the campus life and culture. So that's what I recommend is going on YouTube and searching up like a day in the life of an ex student. I know I saw UWC in the chat, but like the day in the life of a UWC student, like I feel like that way you can like see the student's perspective a little better. And yeah, so in terms of career and academic support, like that's just something that's always been in the back of my head, and that's why like like that's why I brought it up earlier with class size. Like make sure you're finding a school that is able to help you like like do well like while you're in undergrad, but then also prepare you for possibly a job or further education after college, if that's what you want. And opportunities, it's very general, but that can include things like research, like jobs, like work study, and other things like that. Okay, so when we're building a college list, there's a lot of questions with how to find your fit, and some questions to consider that might help you like as you're going through this process is what would you like to do after college? What sorts of opportunities would you like in undergrad? And what sorts of relationships would you hope to have with professors and peers? So those are kind of a lot, but they're very helpful to at least like think of a few like as you're looking for colleges. So universities, they're larger generally, and have access to graduate schools. So that's what really defines what's a university and what's a college. So universities have like that undergraduate portion, but they also have, you know, things such as the nursing school or the school of management or school of business. And what that really means for you is that while you're an undergrad, you have the opportunities usually to interact with graduate schools. So that could be like doing research for the School of Medicine at whatever university you would choose. That could mean, you know, like being able to find a mentor at like the School of Business if that's something that you're interested in. So universities, they're a little more in tune to you being able to build yourself professionally. Not that you can't do that anywhere else. It's just it's easier to do that at universities. So that's a distinction I make. Like, you know, a lot of the points we have for the differences between these colleges and institutions is that you're able to do X better. But the thing is, like, you can accomplish all of these things at like all of the universities, all of the types of universities. It's just it's easier to do so at certain ones. So like at universities, it's easier to get like those opportunities just because that's what they're focused on. And liberal arts colleges, so it's smaller and more intimate. Like the class sizes are usually smaller to medium, but tend to be smaller. And there's a heavy emphasis on your undergraduate education. And you know, like when we're thinking about the distinction between universities and colleges, it makes sense because oh sorry, because well, there's no access to like graduate schools within those liberal arts colleges, so all like the intention is like solely on how you're doing there, and you build really close relationships with your professors, just because the class sizes are smaller, and that's just really the focus of liberal arts colleges. And one additional thing I'll say is that liberal arts colleges are really looking for students that are excited to learn in interdisciplinary fields. So like if like for example, like you might like music, but you might also like science, and you would like to combine the two or study both at the same time, like liberal arts colleges or colleges that have liberal arts philosophies like are able to provide that for you. So yeah, and then arts colleges are definitely more specialized and for students with more specific professional plans. And and then single sex colleges are usually centered on liberal arts education and have unique communities, because like, you know, it's all female or all male, based on like what you feel that you would thrive best in, like which environment. So yeah. And then the other thing to consider is, you know, like what's your intended major or profession? So like then the question becomes like which school will provide you with the most opportunities to get to that point. So you know, this is centered on like for example, like if you're pre-law or if you're pre-med or want to like pre-education studies, and by that, like, you know, like, you know, that you want to go to grad school or law school or medical school like after college. So thinking about that, like you might want like access to graduate schools where you can build relationships with faculty and, you know, learn from like experts in the field that you want to like work in, or just or you might want to look for specialized programs at universities, because I know that the universities I was looking at had education studies as like a department, because I was thinking about becoming a teacher, and I knew that, like, you know, like the support is already there, so I knew that I would be able to thrive in that environment. And then funding for undergraduate research. So if this is like like definitely applies more so to STEM majors, but if you're a humanities major looking for research, there's definitely opportunities to do so in college. It's just like make sure that there's or look for things such as like student grants for like for research. Like I know that at my university, like they will like have about $7,000 to fund any research that you really want to pursue, and then hired faculty. So this is really important when you're thinking about potential professors or mentors you might like to have, like looking at like the kinds of work that like the faculty at your intended colleges are looking at, or what they're working on. And then oh and then like less so like program ranking, but program ranking might just be helpful like when you're thinking about um like I don't know. I just I don't I haven't seen it as like a big factor in my like deciding. It's just if you are able to access a program that is ranked higher, that might mean that they have more like resources to provide you, or the quality of those resources. So like definitely that should come into consideration, but it shouldn't be like the determining factor. And then access to professional advising and development. So like that's looking for, does my college have a office of career strategies? Does it have like pre-medical advising, or does it have um, like student groups like to support you in that way? So yeah. And then I realize I'm throwing a lot at you, so I'll put my contact in the chat if you guys have specific questions I can answer after. But anyways, so thinking about financial aid and fee structure, it was one of the most deciding factors for me, and it will probably be one of yours as well. And most U.S. colleges offer things called merit scholarships. Sorry, merit scholarships, which are more so based on things like test scores. So that could be like the SAT, your grades throughout your education, and they will like provide X amount of merit scholarship for that. But then there's also the need-based aspect of it, where U.S. colleges will recognize like whatever financial need your family might have. So like and they're able to supplement that. But like with those together, like not all of them might be sufficient. So it's definitely good to keep your options really open, and keep an eye out for things such as like merit scholarships that may provide you with a like what they call a full ride. Because I know that like at my state schools, they did provide that, like if you applied to it specifically. So it's a lot to add onto your plate already as you're looking for colleges. But if you can also find like those merit scholarships that you have to apply in directly to, that could be very, very beneficial, or even like life-changing in that way. So yeah. And then, oh wait, actually, could you go back to the last slide? And then one thing I forgot to add was that when you're looking for colleges that really emphasize like need-based scholarships, you can search up like, does X university cover 100% demonstrated financial need? I think that's a really important distinction, because like say like your family's only able to provide X amount like for your college education, and colleges can see that, then they will try their very best to like match that, so that your family can only pay what they can. But if for example like a college doesn't like doesn't provide that, well then like they might try to find your aid in things like merit scholarships or loans, which aren't the best, like in my opinion. Like but yeah, so like if you can help it and like look for like colleges that provide 100% need based, that will be really like helpful in making your college education a little more affordable. And then I wanted to show you like a sample college list. It's the one that I had, and it just so that we can like come start to like apply things that we've learned so far. So my safety schools, I'm from Connecticut, and my intended majors were biology and history, and safeties were University of Connecticut and Southern Connecticut State University. And like some factors that helped me decide that were like, well, proximity to home, definitely, because I knew that like I wouldn't want to leave my parents like that like far away from me, and I wanted to be able to like reach out to them like very quickly if I needed to. And then in terms of like department specific things, like I knew that University of Connecticut, since they are like a large university, they have a lot of opportunities at, say, their medical school, their school of business, and just like other graduate programs that I knew that I would be able to like build myself up like professionally. And in terms of what I would like to do after college, I knew that like UConn would be University of Connecticut would be a really good option for me. But then also like something that helped me like pick UConn was because they have a full ride like merit scholarship that you specifically apply into. They actually had several, so that's why I'm emphasizing that like while you're looking for colleges and building your college list, that you also check the types of merit scholarships that university might offer, and also add that to your applications, just because it can only help you. And the same thing for Southern Connecticut State University. I applied to them specifically, not so much so that because I was interested, but because I saw that if you apply into their honors program and are accepted, they will pay for your like college education. So like yeah. And then my target schools were Northeastern University and Wesleyan University. And something that helped me decide like that I want to apply to Northeastern was because of its location. I knew that I wanted to be near a city center of sorts, so that I could like be able to like engage with a community like beyond my college campus. And I knew that Northeastern would make the most sense like professionally, because they have things like the co-op program, which like pairs you with like job opportunities like very early on in your like college education. I think it's like spring of your first year. But and then oh yeah, so like that's the other thing, like if a college that you are interested in offers specific programs such as the co-op program that Northeastern does, it's really important like for you like to help you decide to like apply to those colleges, but definitely also to communicate your interest in that school and things like supplemental essays where they might ask like, oh, why do you want to apply to Northeastern University? And for me, like I was able to speak to well, I'm really interested in the co-op program that you guys offer. And yeah, so that's just one way to like think about like looking for colleges. And then Wesleyan University, it's very close to home. And I knew that because I wanted to study both biology and history, that a liberal arts college might make the most sense for me, because I would be able to explore those options. Not that you can't anywhere else, it's just liberal arts colleges, or colleges that say they're liberal arts colleges, tend to like be able to better serve you if you have those like diverse interests. So yeah, and then my reach schools were Yale University and Brown University. So for a little bit about both, I knew that they matched 100% demonstrated need, and that I wouldn't have to like worry so much so on that front. Not that like I didn't eventually worry about that. But Brown University, I was really drawn to their open curriculum, just because I knew that it would allow me to do things like cover the prerequisites for professional programs, but also explore the things that like I really wanted to like study, because like Brown University, like you don't have like required classes per se, so all the classes you choose are truly the classes that you want to take. So in that way, you're able to like have a education where like your learning is very intentional. So yeah, like that was a big and then also they have so many like research opportunities, and they're located in Providence, so that I would have been able to like interact beyond the college campus and have those relationships within the community. And then Yale University, it's the school I ended up choosing because well, like once again, like 100% demonstrated financial need, and there are opportunities specific to like research in undergrad. I knew that I wanted to get involved with like things like a lab at some point, and that a city like New Haven is close to home, and it's also a place that I could directly like engage with the community. So those were like kind of my like that was kind of my like process through finding colleges and then selecting ones that I knew that I would thrive in. And I also ended up picking up Yale because I thought that their campus life and culture like made the sense with like my values. And I was able to like kind of learn a little bit about like campus life through YouTube videos about like college students that would show parts of their life, so that like I could better inform like, okay, like is this a place I could see myself like genuinely thriving in 4 years or within those 4 years. So yeah.
Yeah. And to kind of add on, if anybody would like to use a college tracker template, which includes like kind of categorizing as safety, target, or reach schools, as well as keeping track of what portions of the college application you finished for each college. We have a template that you can click a link for. We'll share the slides after the presentation, as well as scan the QR code, and we'll have both links and QR codes throughout the whole presentation. So for the next part, we have types of applications. So in the college application timeline, there's really like 3 main types of college applications that we deal with. The first being early decision, which is the earliest deadline. Then you have early action, which is the same deadline as early decision, but with different conditions. And then we have regular decision, which is the kind of like the main route that most people go through, but we'll kind of get into the specifics of each. So early decision, or ED for short, is binding if you are accepted. So what that means is that if you apply to the school early, usually the deadlines are around November 1st. If you apply to the school early and you get in to that school, then you are required to go. It's mandatory that you go to that school. So that's what they mean by binding. And typically you only apply to schools early decision if it's your top choice. Like, you want to go into that school if you are accepted. And they have that sort of binding contract. There's also something called early decision 2, which is also binding. So if you're accepted, then you still have to go. But early decision 2 is kind of like the second round of early decision, kind of around like January or February deadlines. It has a very similar deadline to regular decision, but it means that if you get in, then you have to go. And so if you get in early, or if you apply to a school early decision, then you'll be hearing from the school around December or January whether or not you got in. Then the next type of college application is called early action, or EA for short. This type of college application is non-binding, which means that it's not mandatory to attend the school if you get accepted. It has the same deadlines as early decision, so around November 1st. And most people typically apply to early action if they like have enough time and it's still one of their top schools, because applying early shows to the school that like you're very interested in them. Although this one means that like if you get in, you don't have to go. The expected decision for this one is also similarly around December or January. It's when like you'll hear back. And then some colleges do offer kind of similar to early decision 2, like a early action 2, or like a single choice early action. Single choice is kind of what it sounds like. You only get one choice early action, but it doesn't mean that you have to go to the school if you get in. Now moving on to the main sort of college application that most people go through on the timeline, which is regular decision. So this is the most common form of the college application. Regular decision is non-binding. So if you apply to 30 different schools in regular decision, then let's say you get into 15, like you're not required to go to any of those schools. You can choose which one you want to go to. They're non-binding. Regular decision typically has a deadline around January or February. So around the end of the year is when the deadline for regular decision is. And for most regular decision applications, you hear back around March or April. And you can do regular decision to almost any college. Now we're going to talk about ways to submit college applications. So the first is the common application. So the common application is the most common and recommended type of college application, unless the school doesn't accept a common app. So around 1,000 universities and colleges in the US are partnered with the common application. And what this is like an online platform that streamlines the college application process. So you can take care of all your different college applications in one online website. Then the second one is the coalition application. So this application is a bit less common. There's around 150 schools that accept it. And it also is very similar to the common application, where it's one platform where you send out all these different college applications. But some schools that don't accept the common application might accept the coalition. But it's a little bit less common than the common application. Then the third type of way you can submit a college application is college-specific applications. So some schools have their own online website or portal where you submit, where they have their own application process on their own website, and you have to do that specific application for that specific school. Whereas the common application and the coalition is you fill out one application with all your different information, and then you can send that to multiple different schools and manage it all from one website. So we're going to be focusing more on the common application in this workshop because it's the most common, and most colleges accept that in the US. So what is the common application? So I touched on it a little bit before, but it's an online platform for college applications. And through a single online platform, the applicants can manage the applications for multiple schools, request recommendation letters, and also get connected to more resources. And we've included some videos that you can watch during your own time. Otherwise, the workshop might get a little bit too long. But the Common App YouTube and the website is a great resource to start looking at how to start your college applications. They have a lot of tutorials online, and they also have a lot of guides online on how to apply. So if you want to learn more about how to get started, you can click the links here for first-year applicants as well as transfer applicants.
Hi everyone,
I'm gonna go ahead and skip this part.
Today.
Okay, so now we're gonna talk about the components of the common application. So one very important part of the common application is the personal statement. It's kind of like the main essay that gets sent out to every college. It's typically around 650 words, and you can choose from 7 different questions. So we'll talk a little bit more about this in the next slide, as well as tomorrow when we talk in our separate workshop about college essays, as well as people's experiences. Another component of the common application is extracurricular activities. So this is where you get to showcase the activities that you've done throughout your high school, or if you're a transfer, then some of your college life. You get to talk about what positions you held and what things you accomplished through your activities. Another component is the recommendation letters. So typically they ask for 2 recommendation letters from teachers, as well as 1 from your advisor or a college counselor. In the counselor section, this is where you have to kind of talk to a college counselor and make sure that they're invited to your part of the application so that they can provide this information to the common application and then send that out to all the different colleges that you apply to. The counselor works with you to send your transcript with all your grades, as well as your school reports, and then also their recommendation letter. there's also additional parts of the Common Application where you write your supplemental essays. So supplemental essays are kind of like the essays that you write specifically for each college. Some colleges might not have supplemental essays, but most of the colleges that you will apply to will have supplemental essays. They'll typically be like, why us college? Like, why do you want to go to our school? And so those are called supplemental. They're different from the personal statement. Personal statement's like the one that's the main part of your Common Application, and it also gets sent out everywhere, but the supplemental is more specific to each colleges. Then you also have standardized testing. If you take the SAT, TOEFL, Duolingo English tests, you also include that in the additional part of your Common Application. So here's a kind of screenshot of what the different essay prompts look like for the personal statement. They have questions. You can choose from 7 different prompts for this year's college applications. So for example, one of them is some students have a background, identity, interest, or talent that is so meaningful to them that they believe their application would be incomplete without it. If this sounds like you, then please share your story. And then you write about that topic for this essay, and this is what gets sent out to all the colleges that you apply to through the Common Application. Coalition Application also has something similar. They're all the personal statements. And if you want to learn more about how to write a good college essay, please come to tomorrow's workshop where we'll talk a bit more about that. Briefly, when you're writing your personal statement essay, some things you want to ask yourself are when you're writing your essay, does your essay demonstrate your core values? And also, is this an essay that reflects your character and your personality? This is a very important part of your Common Application. This is a very important part of your college application because the rest of your application is going to look like statistics and numbers to the college like application readers, right? This is the place where you get to show your personality and kind of who you are behind all these numbers and behind all these statistics. So it's a very important opportunity to showcase who you are and kind of advocate for yourself. A very helpful resource for writing college essays of any kind is a website called collegeessayguide.com. And some basic tips to help you out is asking for feedback, starting essays early, doing a lot of drafting, revising your essay, editing, and then keep on editing until you get it to your final state. It's going to take a lot of different tries, but the earlier you start, the better. That's why we kind of have on the right, start brainstorming your personal statement essay now. It's good to read the different prompts that were on the previous slide here and start thinking about which essay can you bring out more of your story and what different experiences can you highlight or your thought processes and things like that. If I know a lot of Tibetans try to talk about their Tibetan identity and incorporate their uniqueness in different ways into their essay. You can also talk about your different passions and your experiences. And another tip is to make a Google Drive folder for all of your college essays so that everything is organized. And another important thing is to make sure that you plan time for writing supplemental essays for individual colleges as well. The personal statement is a very important part of your college application because that's what gets sent out to all the different colleges. But it's also important to spend time on each college's own essay that they have. And then,
Yeah. So yeah, the Tanamangbuji share it's all information going that you are just slide the jilang on the share chire chidan the very heavy information based karkar kore ni todo mangbo area cheza. If you don't get all in, don't worry about it. On the slide the share chigo ni mutuni tiwa tilen tane diri on the Instagram gune email tane. Chidan ta tanda mangbuji chunsom latsa suya chida ta college application dinalola submit to kala karkar kurzo lobtu ngone chik ta jure chik ta ngaje lapte gini kala lamduen gela gi ta jure ya ta lobtu gaji shashanande lada chunsom latsa ngi distribute toto to yo chiwe but detail model tu mangbuji stretch suya chida application page na comment app de dojina lobtu rangi kyang ki so the comment app na kha chure and social personal information 그런 민 가네인 거기 던지자가 되요라 니 지구지게 extracurricular 아니 좀 essay personal statement 다 supplemental essay 디 council application part 나 직차사 지구지게 standardized testing 디 다 rally standardized testing 나 남기 SAT 다 ACT 라 니 유리와 다 딩산도시나 럽다 만지지 optional suite 다 이네 오마도신 럽다 간세 인짐지 short 디 core area 제사 디지 인짐지 럽다 문이 치우기 가나 땅과디요 지구지게 English proficiency exam 나니야 다 견적 qualification TOEFL 고유 기를 야면 IELTS 고유 기리야 지금지가 등산 사우지 그런 duolingo English test 해 주된 배 공충하체 아니야 대 교가체 아니 그런 짐지파 테스팅 센터를 줘 먹어야지 수수 나네 따네 되고라 컴퓨터 유나 온디 등산 디 스탑 줘 지사야 딱바양 콜레지 정말 액셉시마 제도 수수에 콜레지 따오 콜레지 기 admission page 라 줘 페이지나 brown university.edu dura until do they accept duolingo yamna google na khabdu chine le duria and things are college man accept chi chesa dikhe chimbo che jigbijiga counselor section there khariola na ni ngaju that is counselor section na transcript ta lapta ga school report ka te tango chinda chukji kuwa chuwa chukji chuni di lo shi diga ji ani jigbijiga counselor ki recommendation letter de tangri su counselor ki ngun chikche jigbijiga kyu gelani yo la ta chungna chinda 주원의 중위 여행까지 진 계란이 기니 recommendation 다운길 얌나 되게니 다 수인의 믹스기 계신보리도 삼나도 수수 applicant now application di now la 믹스기 numbe도 약보실레도 그런 펜토서 삼나 온딜레 recommendation 롱네 디리요 and 지단 딩 어주디 undergraduate qualification transfer 가지 이나다 야니 it's nganzu mixi ki transfer to ke robot chitum de chesa onde nganzu nyamnyu me king kiryo chikche nyamdo masters thanda bu mangbu khaza register ni master chingin de tu dido china nganzu we have a thanda yongyu dewaji khalana masters bu ngosu masters chengi khorang zuni ke ta ke ni rewa chi yu thanda chinda chu chuas nangla che ding nganzu mutuni kran zulani di lentang de chu instagram kyuni ni email ta ni che 아니 counselor nje mixed and de nganzu lapta counselor nangane kadinchi de 좀 토아데 아니 de 부 mangbolesiya kadinchi dishu samtana nganzu chuna chinda chuwa gi dapshu de malaya counselor gi chedoni ngosu the workshop chi nganzu chuna counselor lapta de la arile be lapta counselor di ketane ni koran chu gi ngone ni counselor gi ngone kharka chi thure ni kharka chi ure de ne tolani workshop chi chwa chesiyu tian chi chu samsung next slide there yes, this is mainly for undergraduate. Kaisana nganzuki nyamyunti to undergraduate la chateura. Ineda tanda mangbuji graduate school la robo godule da chesa nganzu chungna. We're trying to host an webinar to invite ongoing graduate school students who can speak on their behalf about what the graduate school experience is like. Yara. Then college application part in a chick kitchen kala college interviews. In a college interviews to tapaya lidima kansna, you have to first submit the application. Application madam when a college interview ramaria. Chesa ta college interview the pajini kitchen but senate chita kuranki thinking of law she college application chita the color mangbuchi number ta kuran gadget kazure kurani SAT gadget to TOEFL gadget kazure and the gangan 난 지부지가 좀더 제디는 것을 교미 동도 통통마라 애플리케이션 진행이 되는 수네 이네다 인터뷰 기니 그라 믹스기다 opportunity 마스네 그거 약고 스틸 간스네 그라 뭐수 앱 남규 인터뷰 진행이 간자는 페이지 톨럽 통이 알람레라 톨럽 딜기 존용이 롭투지로 지금 뭐마다 퇴원사교 콘주 남규 지리야 디디도 그라 그랑기 애플리케이션 딜라 동도스 되죠 아니 나 가데는 게 나인데 좀 시도가 무슨 동수 디스 마다다 제정디 그런 주 usually helps a lot like builds on 그런 게 애플리케이션 가 능베게 하죠 아니 삐두자셔나 아니 그런 게 센터 켄도 제가 지나네야 마다 중기를 마다 심지다네 디 경가를 요 마다 애플리케이션 디 인터뷰 디 린트나 수수디가 능베 그런 게 콘조 컨빈스 해줘 아니 니 무슨 투니 나디 길ങ്ങള라 디디디 요 그런 게 된두 걸라 color it's helpful and 지구지가 당가주 시슈 인데프 아미야 그런 주 디콜라 누베 셰 더바이 나니 간줄에 대화치로 그냥 당가주지 가르치려나 인스타그램 디고 대화치네 디는 간주 인터뷰 프랩 치도 로버치 두리 그런 줄라 인터뷰 대치도 간주 mock interview 시라 비행 간주 제 두리야 지구지가 온디체 아니 지다 again, like I said, the interview, the number round it's an extra thing. So if you don't do well, if you don't feel like you did well, keshe gwa yo mare ngune the number round chido azam ge yakpore samgutuya. That the common questions. 지원이 좋니 뒤야다 심바들 망am 코다 는베 야임바라 지칼라나 점이 바요세 그랑 어르시데 큐스레 가네레니 그랑 겹종 카를라죠 다딘쪽 먼저 남규 큐 인디비주얼 두두갈로 약쇼 카를란 치투르섬나 수송아스네 지원줄라 렌조 다디치란다 알도 주스고 말에 이네 수수기 렌디 인디 야기 아이디어 주여서메죠 Yuna, Litu couple theory tan thing curang or to the lead quiet on matter, and the curang as in lad the carca lag the point 30 unit curang la do tap de che when a confident you could meet a ledge meet the 30 chish deliver when a loop yakuj tendi juice samaja. Chesa the chidan tell me by yourself theory and you comment better your lad to the number going to ni teokuyan chasing us and 30 kitchen buche. Chibujikan college ta besina brown tuloblani apply china brown tulobla apply kachin chi la theory tangar and q delago giving to show. ताकि नमगी करे some dinalo long to kusu supplemental SL mongbuslasa oti chibichi kunzo kale why do you want to apply to X college le until chibichi nganda kunzo interview no why this college le dukyo ngone supplemental call SH dukrang research china en di Y college X de ta interview na chyo de tab de lengya tursum getsim te yumaresin ta dinalo kun slide into lona tunguda jidan tips and advices the interview ko the share ne nganzu tuzu os tu chik to do the chatting in depth me ya konda in chibichi college application timeline ta college application timeline di khat mar sana nganzu namgyu ta yagala yue de re ine nganzu do shine de la chida ari tholo khodu go zure jinda guas la go zure en tholo di chema nidong chema loga ji jinda sumba ma jinda ngawas la labda zogor esa 인디 인두가 콘주 college admission di khadu course na jo disko tamula chadi konye면서 chadi shwe de kechim boroya ta yaga namgu 진짜 둠바스네 그런 chadi che gochuduna peya bor kansen tangshwe deadline de khadu leaves in early um August and leave 진짜 기회스나 early action ra no I'm sorry no my bad 진짜 축지 November is the first deadline ed da ea you are and dichila mid December the January the regular decision dingi last regular decision di January na li chena thambos na chesa os tuzu yukuiro che chenda kran so chi mixe to la bla che do ba do na ed di 진짜 축지 na li rio thadi chi we ta dina tamne tuen re chi ta nga 가정아 대리주는 야가 여바체 야가 되는 만에 규란기 있다 벤좀 대리주는 college list 대리주는 application 들 고추에는 가정아 진행 깁사라 타마테니 제가 주주 마치는 약수체 November 디나로 규란 EA다 ED요 early decision the early action 대체 엔치비지야 디나로 동기다 mid December 내야 지카는 등일 라교도 early decision the early action 지나다 교 고르다 디페시는 mid December 레다 진짜 중이기 기마 되는 말라 큐라 콘주 렌레 폴로그니 큐라도 추유메 엔치비지가 regular decision submit는 그 진짜 담보스나라디 인슈데 게라 인슈 갭니 그 진짜 숨바시와슬라니 쿠르큐리 추유메요 지비지가 안디버라 인터뷰 디남규 진짜 니왔다 아니 진짜 숨비기 고조를 하면 되라 니 인터뷰 디 콘주 니 인터뷰라네 그 남규 콘주 인터뷰 겟당 마다 그런파 콘주 I think you usually have to request it that you want to do an interview. Any undi tuna delaba kunzu ku reach out chira ku interview chambe but again that's yeah. Yeah, digital data to financial aid and scholarship sesta dina lang kunzu kishi. 다 드린디 나오는 최고의 딱 파시도스 준준주의 직할래나 당부디 지다 안주기 financial aid 레두갈라니 안주 컬 로비언 코랑기글라 통주다 안딜라 바연이 가령 안주 노르데 통주데 온디 콜레지 도르투시에체 가진 계정부 채우면 돼 콜직시오 레지부지게 types of financial 코란 나오는 등기 라비안기 띵으로 제치수 merit based need based 안 지기는 뒤에 안주 무튼 디스타게 셰체요 엔치비지 그냥 financial application 근데 데 가운데 common application 다 디카라 그런 게 톨럽 니쇼 그런 게 아주 디 application 니 financial application 그런 financial aid 롱고라다 ngal lobion godu se longo de odi pa application karkar de golang odoche 엔치비지 그냥 등기 데 슈시 슈에도 슈차스인데 appealing for financial aid 기시 톨럽 치기니 개제 갸갸 팀이나 그 문에 로빈 고에디 예 톨럽치기 띠여체 예 톨럽 당보들 그런 줘야 돼 봐요. 콘솔 들려 봐니 아필 쳐죠. 알아 톨럽 다 디온데 걸 아주 모두 시래. 다 Depending the financial data. Ta chida ngedi khala house na nganju chida nganju ta chenjule yu shugula ngone scholarship la ne new pay thangbo shine kranzu khoya mangbuji beria ta GLM ma to shu kunyu ki maria ani de yo mare nganju ngene ta khala inde ro chire ine ta di meo kingi ni kranzu la ta ngandi GLM ni mindu beria ni mindu da timeline de dotsa ju ta kunzu application dotsa sne de de na ngone khon re sang go dio khaisina chibuji gyang tana nga do chine re ni naloptu mangbuchi tanda kinzita ni yuzo kesin chiki dojina UDPC gyune apply chira chibichi konzo de scholarship la mix in de yo mare koranzu ngone apply chi ene susu tolo mangbuchi adla tang ngozu tin dis de shi gya gere ene tolo mangbuchi kyo financial aid scholarship deal kura application base yo ine chetanti kyo zong zu gyagala yo shugula ngone GLA dan bere chikbu mai ba ani tile manga ni koranzu de kugap yo chesa diang khatuine sometime jo kare GLA 베레드 가지고 표준 공부수에다 베레드 믹서 딩서다 애드버타이즈 시마레 이네 GLA 딱pa 치다 아니 지금 UWC의 프로그램 때 표준기 막 모두 지구는 델라 망부 열수수 문에 간다 리서치 또니 따나도 구글 세션 근데 망부 지금 진짜 주지 중이치도 아리를 드라이네 랭잉 믹스데 기하고 인데 유길 프로그램이야 디 리서치 그랑기 미신발 대하시는 문에 체 툴스 디야 계지모 배통구도야 지금 땅에 라와나 시다 리서치 딱그랑 간다 the financial aid sira chigbichiga scholarship situ kala khadu the patient kulopta brown la mixi ki let's say kuran dubai ache ndela pa brown university kuran google na search brown university full scholarship full financial aid ni for international students na en kon dela pa lead kar information dera and chik khachim kejim butong slanga ju tenda de develop mangbuchi khachela international student share khaisna nga ju ari lapta duina tara international indu kabla dela pa namgyu ni kharesna international look to that is financially scholarship ratis kumba le kha yoria ine ramyati mareya chesantia hakwa kichimbucheyo ani chibujigyang ku kisi tiwa tilento ina ta jiktamikse laptaki website ni kurang la financial aid kurang kolani ke nizu mang khala de information mangbo marana kurang gi ngosu financial aid office yura the page brown in a brown gi financial aid office email yor de kanzo kunzu website na tungri khonzo dewa chi ngati laptaki la apply che de badus and delapa ine financial ngara gyapjo dinde yins ani delapa financial aid yure merela ni kaptu khadu ine yo ku khaju dewa manga chi ni kurang lendi ra de che ni ni chi de sang so de ne pen tu de sang che de ke chim che 땡이 되게 레레요 데 땡아 디스 타겟 데 체치단들 데 그런 적에 아주 슬라이드 쉐어 치 디나 링다 니 QR 코드 요레 디나 디스 디시 망아 게리요 지다 financial aid they conduct to lana check admission based ta chige any financial aid ta admission din lana college la conduct suma chu di ke chitli ra din lo chita lopta yoni la chi check need aware colleges check need blind need aware da need blind de khare ta khewa yor sena ta need blind su du gala kunzu 그 application lo tu kabla yo kunzu 그 ngui gyap jong ma sune da kurangi financial gyap jong di tai mare 마다 니 그런다 financial aid 큐베이션 고모 핑제 팀이네 군주 개하고 마다 그데 따고 말에 다 튜리 나로 군주 따고 말에 인그 군주 accept 지나다 들라바 군주 개지 개네 개지 그 돌롭기 로비 지비장 나도시나 다 이네 온 찍지사 아니 need aware 시두컬 군주 application 데이터도 걸다 그런 application 로라 돌롭디 지비장 군주 sensitive 다그 코베샤 가족티 투 가족티 투 민둘라데 calculate 그런 application process 나로야 디직체 Di machu kichitira. Chibuchi the financial aid in Naula Karela merit based and need based external scholarships. Merit based thinking Rabiang in Tishikar. Kuranki, it's based on your academic credentials. Kuranki Gachi Yapura, Kuranki Zom Yapta Yamna, Kuranki scholarship don't apply to a lot of Kuran and some scholarship you mix a patient a refugee scholarship to. Wheaton College said you didn't kunzu refugee scholarship and apply chair, the merit based. And the Chibuchi kunzu ita Kuranki Odichi Yobache. And chibuchi need based kalane kurangi nangmi kigu khajute tu mindula pa ni tia konse financial tejo bezna ngadoshna onen gyapjang yo mare ni pingje jo mare dilapa nga need based kalanga gyaji gyane gyani roba kore chitang konse dilapa ni tulopdi tajo ko gyaji gyane gyako dus dilapa financial te matiti ya ralira chikchesa any external scholarships de kalana chida tulop rane mayamba chilo ni yampeshna NGO dojina da kunzu ni mixi refugee pool and scholarship de tina ku apply chine kunzu gomo ni don sun non de tir samta amna tar ralira in this fellowship in the zaga ze pesher ani external scholarship in zekune ya kranzo financial aid supplement to anu be area and jida de kar ki chimbulana da tholo mongbochi need blind ina khabdu da shoshu semche ma need blind na kyutsuna bisha kanza teshe labda rangi ne that number tholo mende mongbochi ma jida tian chele teshe kere chigbichi kya need aware yamana need based in combine chitur tholo kashe need aware in bachen need based in bachen mix international bu ngazu preparation international da dilapa yang kuche these stay kha chi ma se mare khaisna arena de shugo ari message na da kunzu endila pe gaji gana de serio ine ngazu international indi kunzu namgyu expectation khalan international bu lenye mangbuji ngu ti tu re samgor kunzu ya kanyena ine ngazu preparation gyabyo shemena te tu mena ne ya thulop khar khar ba che de yang khejin bu ha ko de khejin bu labde ti ngu khande ti min du ya ondi che any again labde ni la tang ngazu admitted appealing process thing ngazu dishin dishi chele ger 디 기축이랑 교량기 모두 시나라
아니 nga na college sport account di ko la ya college sport account di susu di kisi da google la ta shina ya college sport account susu share ya and kisi college sport account susu sa shina an no din ma gyoji to susu SAT exam ta na re CSS profile din samma ngam do link de ya and CSS profile susu je la ani khunzu ke la email nang la ani ya the financial aid lobra hashe document thaw do kisle patient bank statement dan de gold december ani idoc la website ji on the email na on the link dio ya and on the link do ani su document go gen zu tere ani ho financial aid ta the college khare khare gi financial aid ka ji document khare khare don sangma su check chi angela on the khare they submit to shina do CSS profile ni maya and kanishul national and handing it is a college for account la the college kaji college board or org lani data and on the actually suji email dia su khare email ta hago biro jiya da su email daga ran pheji dang deng doya on the chi ani password di su da the thema maje ro jiya ya ani account jiran jiksu ani ho da the CSS profile go la this hand the detail down the manga share ya CSS profile declaration and on an application the college manga share gi pheji dang go ya college university din je in kai ni dang go la shina dang su lob da college studio samba ke financial aid ka ji ta ropa che je on di ko la on di chi CSS profile di ta on ma apply share ya ani CSS profile di profile khadi submit chu la shina ta ke ji common app ne ma submit chu re and jila 지단기 the CSS profile di mi mang chegi ke kisi common application ka ji di global apply chi sa shina and di jila ya ki CSS ka ji di submission at goria ine nga the CSS profile tisnge ne di gozu china hazure gewa goas ne CSS profile ne gozu tisnge ne sona di gore yamna jeres na do so de par ya ine lobda mang che ka ji da di khare the CSS profile ka ji deadline chi da on di kisi ke the common lab ya did no de la submit china and ya on the next in the niche on the deadline ya in the only the khorang lo ya and common lab subject ba susaji application fee te ora ya application fee di nisangare ani digital khare the kisi lobda den the apply ro chi ba ya khare mi khashila nga di ni endo thongs khare ke anje fee din ma tharo te ke ro thongs ya ine kisi su fee wave che ya ta kisi wave la shin ta su la ya ta en be ngil tha te ga ji me la shina an kun je wave sia shina an ke di ngil ta to maria on the lesson the CSS profile ka ji required document kharo la shina ani bank statement dang ani income statement dang and rogore on the manche di khare and rogor recently take logic ni nga ji and yo shina yak bor ya khana ngema ji yo shina yang kun je di khalore this is the reason ga ji yo shina su da handa ya ra khana da handa ji ni sil di tongora
this ngidigal nimbesh kana sams di de kesugi laid la shu chita financial de ngaju common app ta chipchen ch profile da ngui tere nam gyuchna dina komuni sanga de da agor ine kran changbo china da tulo mangboji ya fi waiver ti re kran di ke khachim bu kechim bu chela so so ki pull up dina admission dikhala financial aid officer yura di email lang khaptu phai yigta ngadi te caption ti she nga pheba yin dire nga financial aid dikaji mari de assess profile to the fee we re le ya in konju mangbo jingune samse chine ti fee we tene kyu gum peshe te te ma ya free raw kyu do jundi jiglana kichim tong she nimu ti thanda de dinong information di mangbo jingune ngaju phebe bula nga do sina information dina koegi ta mangbo jing ngala me yo peshe bank statement do ngala caption kheme ni ngini palamna ni caption kheme du kala 그런 주인데 니 주직보도 리너다야 먼저 무튼 대하치는 뒤에 망고지 나도시네 장고에데 간서 레고라는 게 간서는 겹존이 게메네 딜러파에 그라야 섹션 주어 CSS 프로파일 디 나올라 그랑기 좀 지서도 섹션 디나라 큐 카데 가족 있는 배 되시게 나도시나 Yellow shi mangbuji level ranti ka sanga gyapjo melas anti chipje ngedi wade thamade section chom chisero dinala ngedi she gangzo ge ngala gyapjo khani yo mare nga ngu ga ji di document kunzu gwa cha ga ina di khajin te tu yo mare ya mena khete min dan dile pa yan de she gyawra khajine mes ne kunzu ha gwa chi do di yan chi shune ke chu do
and this is like the kare the college the college like college tamir and college ni kyo accept chita in the college so the option college is the only donge chogore in and college b the only be kyo accept chiri in college a the kyo full scholarship te o marta patient kisi 80% do te ya in college b the only kyo ani the kyo scholarship 100% the only kansa chore 아니 only 시가 지나다 그 기세교 college the bad 마 하시나 인기 college 에지 아주 financial aid 가지 department 직다 only 되게 기세기 구글 따가시나요 그래서 아주 이메일 상만 되셔요 financial aid 가지 only 군zul라 되어시고요 기세 제가 시가시나 안 the information 내 개고지라 이 말이야 안 제상 군zul라 이메일로 땅 only 가랭아 디 군술 college 라 안 되봐요 이네 가레 ngala di kare the extra 20% jigora ta nga financial aid ga jiong de nga pese de ngil me la ga china an kunzo yo de ne ba an sanro dang chi an kisi oni de china an susula kare da the koga ba de ma information 상마 ende ma re on di chine di Dutch education bore ani and college like in la digor handa ki college il jode par on dil en la an khare tanga college b di an handa college semba jora on di ani khare ngala full scholarship test o ina nga khare college kinju college the le de ba chesang ani scholarship full rai re la ni and obi ngem du di tina digor email no 아니 딜랑아조 한다야 디 대지단기 하라 international student 딩 암미 세계 배바 보고 지려야 아니 scholarship 야 리스트 거려 안 당보디 아니 아주 베리어 scholarship 디 아니 망제 하고 오래 100% funding to the 기실럽이 수가 시가시는 안 게야 디 가레 로 당보지라 100% scholarship 려야 아니 기세디가 수수하지 수수 GPA라 수수 디 럽스니 조아지 계전도 약보라 하시나 아니 군지 디 망체 기타요 scholarship 한지 continue 지레 아니 end of your college 망체라 그디 카레 세미스터야 딜로 당보딜라 계전 윤달 디감 요 기세교 계전 디감 라가치나 안 딜레 야가 야가치나 엔커 scholarship 디 continue 지레 삼삼양 수수 계전 야보 말하시가치나 양 군지 카레 scholarship 디 메아서다 예메나 페세 샤가다 엔로 디 시리아 and this is a Fulbright scholarship di khaji lachna ngajo masters ta PhD shibire undergraduate maria on the fully funded tuition fees tang ani susuaji 강바당데 ani 칼로리다 칼라사당 남두도 아는 상마 아니야 디 밀디 ani Fulbright scholarship 당라 주고래 아니 디젤라 아니 GLI on the scholarship 다 only 아니 디용 아주 디지 단기 시리까지 웹사이트 그 scholarship 가지 notification the scholarship 가지 딜리 update 살리디요 제상 아이마 디 시리까지 웹사이트 시리까지 scholarship 웹사이트 지가 온디라요 아이 망고요 책 바로 치디요 오늘 시 퀴즈비 기시 책 시라시나 구조 scholarship 사다들이 로기르다 하고요 하고 the donatic six 난 책 시디다요 아니 펜도 첨보려 아니 GLI scholarship 디 아니 믹스기 당아주 컬러를 한다 디 갸가당 네팔에 이렇게 배워 보고 이제 라운디도 지수 계좌 약보 얘기는 너야 job students enroll 저거야 안 딜랑 아주 다 컬러 아주 CBSE 지 보ard exam 예면에다 마스 카드 수 간제 있는 비 온디체 안 디가 TOEFL 당 거야 안 TOEFL 디 계좌 디 급준이 망하고래 scholarship dinzo직 부 마이 바야 셰바야 망보려야 아니 한다 심바치 칼 Emory University Scholars Program 라죠 아니 혼들라 기시 partial 더 scholarship 차가 빈시레 야메나 강자 인시야 아니 온디 더 코란소 잔다 Emory지 웹사이트 직다 Emory University 웹사이트 따다요 안딜리 망아래 이네 온디 직부 마이 바 한데 디 카레 수수 기시 university야 그래서 저 바로 여가시 나고 그저지 웹사이트 냈다 하시다요 가이나 university 카레 망체기 지난 기디 요레 그 scholarship 요레 ngi handa GLS scholarship di ngi handa dila di handa sheri ga website den bawon dila kunje di TOEFL ni specifically tidiya ina jinan gi da TOEFL da IELTS ni ga dogor nga kheba shira yoma sam gi diya ya TOEFL di nyama ruchri di IELTS test tidu jel le gyor ya ina IELTS bi dia da digor sam gi dingi ina sheri ga website le gonu matta yang khaila ashina da khoran sui document go gi ta da ya ashina ya da
아니 이제 단다 이거는 지금 이제 단다 presentation 디 한번들 이제 미창가 이메일 당야래 아니 유튜브 강 단다 record 치고 봐 유튜브 강디 upload 치고 이네 단다 이제 scholarship list 네 망고요 디 딜로 더블로 망아요 그냥 research 진투나 이네 이제 단다 단다 이제 slide 딜로 망아요 디 document 강 샤요 단다 QR code scan 진투나 or 이제 디 presentation 디 share 치디 강 link 디 림나 디게 also workshop 타마들레서 enzo tiwa tilin tuzulleso ani tiwa jena tanda chat bulla tiwa titura or unmute chije tiwa shenadire
네네 디 screen unshare 치는 디 말해 나디
yeah and squad di machiti kono tanda 인저기 presenter 든지 screenshot 친투나 인저기 email 든지 상관되어를 단다 인저 tiwa specific 된이라고 해나 단다 screenshot 제제 인저기 email 되어를 안 인저 contact 친투나 되어를 디가나 순서기 DM Instagram 토나 DM 제디 인저 렌지 우리 bas
네네
stop show
오케이 티어당부터 있어 니체네 페이지 톨럽 로링 당부신이 두이나 따라 배질리터 티 말했던 것도야 간신하더냐 로링 당부신이 도라 but I think it's on your part 그랑 콘조 톨럽 기시 그랑 로직 드링 쿼드로이 엠나 가진이 그 again you have to decide 그랑 transfer 체인 first year apply 체요 페이지 transfer 디 되게 카르스 first year application이야 간신이 지다 gaga chone ni transfer chine pe process go nyo ko che and it's not a like a typical thing people do che san this go nyo kha che ine page I think it's doable kira and get the lorum thangbu chi to apply chine deal song go ya ine and phe de she gya dolop ki da page lo tingo la gap ye lenim le mara ya dolop dora andila pa kyu de she gya go ske chi mu che ji da ya nye china kyu apply chi tur song go to CS profile the engine jikor kyo de re CS profile the kuran thangbo comment app the engine kyang go yo bachare CS profile the financial aid side ra kijin bor engine jitte or the financial the CS profile ko re ani I guess like Tioji did the key what can you do to make a bad grade in your application yeah that's a great question. I don't know if anyone else want to take on that. Does anyone want to share? Jirabia, Chukisugi, Genze, Chunzum, anyone want to take on that question?
I can offer some perspective. If there's a period in your application that like say in your high school there's a year where you did really bad, then the common application they have areas where you can explain why it was bad if there was a specific reason, say something happened in your family or very serious situations, you can explain that. But another, I guess, thing is just to focus more on like your stories in your interviews and other parts of your application that you can write in so that it's not so that your applications that have to do without that don't involve numbers and statistics are much stronger than your grades.
네 밖에 없던 거라. 내가 천점이 많지 않았었고. 지단에다 나 장보진 라인라. 아주 가들 든다 주기준이도 다 농바 신다시도 든도 없더니 법정이다. 농바 사와지도 강이 데스티라. 디게니 깨자 사시리에서도라. 이 템바를 부모 볼라라. 아니 제가 과도 다 콜레슨도 니슈프도 강도 가도나 아니 야 컬러 인터뷰 라이드 탑제다 개정볼 가는 인터뷰 the Rathuanani Khan interview la deshe gare ngosingire khwazugi thajwe chona ji thajwe chin tan chikiyore oni khabache niyo de kar kechon bolna college la de chugu yigi jan chugu mara ani juma college thyo jani yigi jan chugu mara daga da khare na yungi de ne khan lopre chilo la ne khare chi extracurricular activities ka chi ani khare ang jo thanglangi la khare chi dindu dunju thangma kang ge deshe ya bo ya dunju chona ni college 도 많이 롭죠 약간 쭉 담고 말아 저도 롭죠 현장에 통해야 담고래 계란님을 대화야 보생이 담고래 롭다 민이야 보생이 담고래 제가 먹고 차게 먹고치를 차도니 그냥서 기지 계좌 약보 민도 싸워나 아니 든도 extra curricular도 믹스에 약보 해도다 아니 that IELTS trouble 다이나래 SAT 땅고 키나 줄란 30 야시 라 다 근데 스튜던트는 붙여야다 하마지가 저 갑도 찍라요 말아야다 근데 저는 소속이 스튜 다 경기 가르던 거 담다오는 경기 단다 열개 땅도 살짝 가르도 다 계좌で열개 땅에 매와 차시라 단다 인슈표 인슈표서 이 차게 현단도 열개 땅도 열개 땅도 나니 펜토버 성도
지원 next 드리도 I want to apply for UWC, but I am a little confused on how to write the essay.
계산축이 직동에 배
저기는
오케이.
당부자 리들랑이 디슬로.
러스 다다 유로시다 연습을 너무 어려서네 지단에 산이 디스지 가지고 산이지 사변 디스펜도 어떤 것도 이네 다 조시 다가라면에 지단기 좀 제다 가도이나 가다네 저리 제게 좀 보래 당긴거나 저기 제 당이 sab존나 슈다 아니 가다네 고주 테마체 아니 수족이 다칼로레 드랍 먹고 줘다 좀데 먹고티 쥐치 가다네 쥐치오나 아니 이렇게 땅투라 된조치네 땅가서는 여기다 아니 저어디 캐치주 갈라나 디와딜라 랭게로요 다 벤치잖아 아주 별을 유로비스라 디주 갈라나 유로비스라 디체나 즉 요즘도 시대 젠더 스페어네 유로비스게 니슈롱엔도 카리하고 뭐도나 캐랑고라 하고 뭐도 다 좀데 가도이나 캐랑기 돌아 태 캐쳐보라 캐랑기 미제기 로규이나래 아니 캐랑기 곰시이나래 캐랑이 내가 딘지 튀어나네 콘저기 니슈다 저 증행 저기 하고라 아니 디미디 컨디션에 또 어디 좀 튀고 좀 저저라 다 콜레시나레 유로비시 코안이 찍버다 경기 또는 모두 체라 어디기 좀디 경 모두 약간 체도도 뭔데 배에 캐쳐 버렸던 아니 계산 저기 있습니다
nga endo di nga khare hande university nga zom thidies ba kunzo ilo takpa di missing idlo tiwa shi story ya and tiwa shi di samsam di tiwa rang khashi ji tiwa jinggi rangge ranggi yo samsam yang kunzo tiwa chen shiru shi ondi ni tiwa nzuda di thelo ji tiwa khare khare do ondi thangbo the keche shi ondi ra and this is the lenge di bi khare the tiwa di len takpa gero da ani di kalore 수수하지 한다고도 냠용들이다 수수야 냠용 숙청본이 출기도 돼서 원인도 뒤로다 아니 예매나 수수의 카레 더블라 액티비티 카리심보다 and take UWC라요 the 카레 contribution UWC라다요 여가시나 교회 카레 가르치도서리 아니 디간라 엔롤나 약보냠도 카레 the kids UWC go like his research roshina on the UWC gang azu dio CAS leisure the program chair on the creative activity service leisure the only go like this gashina ga di khare UWC la ani CAS la di khare the involved chat by an activity did endo che di endo lagashina ya kuzu ero sam gir khare the kingine horaya di research do an kyongone phala the debado aro ya and hagu ro onire 나로 좀 나로 같이는 약을 생겼죠.
That's good. 먼저 UWC 가지 거의 application 당하는데 당교 정말 망치 reject다. 근데 차교에다 common mistakes 같이 주거라. 근데 갈등을 나릅시다. 그래서
결혼에 도와주자 시에라 유럽에서 간데
UWC
lost 다디 나 얘기 나랑에 동시어라 나라 유럽에서 탱다고 추마송네 탱요라 추스라 제단다 탱다보니 나랑이 다 레슨 나라 가르쳐 주실라나 좀디 가르쳐 차이나나 아주 배부지도 타마기 벤처지나 도나티자 도나티에도 아주 전조와래 라자는 좀 양아래 라야도다 든 타마다 배바 타마 양아라 가는에 유럽에서 배배 최도 년시 풍이 타마 배바라 제가 가리케쳐 보라나 소도 로도 되는 베게쳐 보던 거더라 띵아주 가드이나 다직 논두셔라로 줘라 기가 개천보레 와도 배바에는 배배게 이제 로유시에 돼 개천보레 근데 좀나 콘쪽이 유럽시 예수 땅에 저기 갈다일라나 교환기 캐주라 교환기 공시다 교환기 로브라라 가르 치도 근데 따와나 아니 야하고라 가나나 콘쪽 예수 타마 베블로브 랭귀에도 베블로브 타마 콘쪽이 젠저와 이거 하고래 배배 챕티 걸어 강담지 하고요도 네 교환 대세 교환나 아니 너베 차이라 제가 아니 Samdu dilane direshuna digisamudo ineya taine lotar chene nyeshulonge loga indu chitan lak khapore ne chitani tom thiala khadik khechambon sudo logo to ne khechambor tumudo undi digala dichigi ngjogi sudo tom thinge de chedo na ni tom de yabu chayagi ro tumudo 계속 저기 직송하나 정말
nga dilo samskare 당아주 디 배바보 맞아 배바보 지고 말에 이네 지당이 거라 가라 nga 망체 이 카레 칼로 믹스기 다 익제게 지불라 디 칼로리 계신보로 지다 이네 유니버시티 애플리케이션 프로세스 시디어스 마 군제여야 심바 디 카레 익제 디 익제게 지고 마엠 바이크여야 디 실로 액티비티 심바 카레가 지도로야 온디로 데이레 비신나 아주 소셜하다 nga 아주 님마 디어 카레 ngazo di lobraji koyuk de abara ngazo di street dogs to yo ngazo kid de yo ya ta hondi de kid de ji civilization do yang kunzola the ki neba de la khala ro de do da and do hondi bula nga di nyama hondi di involved has yo I want my bang ngazo lobra koyuk jangma swing de yo ya hondi ro and activity nang mangbo mu zo china ya di yakbor sing di khaina UWC la doga china bi phala lobjon ji ko mare UWC life ka nangla activity dang and the aspect mama period chesang ni khale ondi ni volunteer work do dang yemena lobda ji ta halo rang ajo club la de yora on dila juachina ani kyoji application the strong has you
lawn Darjeeling the theory
Nastelera ani atolapta rapur mangela lapte bindeshara ani khunjala thapse yomare
disco the comments the theory like the mena London ICC the gija PJ the ngi theory ran ko mi den hamus re the so green book alele green book 때문에 개좀 green book 지단 표시용기 scholarship 콜라는 개시슈라 심지단 그 아래를 apply 도 지나 green book 개치면 말했죠 ICD 요네 엠나 passport document 가려 요네면이다 간다 아래를 도야기 travel document 가려 주네니 개취 들어가는데 가시네 그 이제디 visa 세두칼 travel document 고 요바라 랑젤라테 green book 디다 RC 다 디믹시 개치면 말해 process 나올라 kansi tangzu kandang kanzu lagwa zo di chida general college application ra di into kala pyoshung specific min du kabla ranzi lagde tinde khe jaya ma green book it's not a requirement or anything. It's just yeah. Any church to the mambuji you had to do the chat nangula. I think we'll try to answer them quickly. But if you don't get to your question, wait, should we prioritize people who are already here and ask if like those who raise hands? Yeah, the most within our video and we'll prioritize that and then we'll get to the chat. And then yeah, iPhone screen at the church don't know. iPhone should the list there. If you have a question, feel free to ask in like unmute yourself. Yeah.
Nye chiwadira tanda CSSD ngazo scholarship radi tibaden puchi kula mai bayang scholarship shwala rare
Scholarship it's not Tibetan specific. The CS profile the kind of but application the Ramara who's this? Okay. I don't know if I link game and then they go to Messina. The Jim Pebako Marit, the application led so three when it's on go to the Pebble in Belarmado, Dinala Su in a minute, Kanda Tama the Tolo apply to Dukabla. Again, you don't need to be Tibetan, Su in a minute. Pebble and EJ don't go Marit, any tear simple Labacana can Timelan to the chat on tonight.
Did Chiwa did Ajakisan Shigi Ajaki on the Lambada, Takala the social application did Chito, Mr. Acidona, the social participants Kazachin doesn't activity that is within the Tongue Lamba, who did the social acid 19 be a part the interview to the Woody Gablani.
Neither SNL SNL and the Ngozohari Gela activity to Tirusha Larusi Yamdo. I only Gela Digation and disprove to your Yamdo. Angela Nitzam Nalati, Angela interview Nalabi. Interview the Gishi, the country Gishi kind interview the min dog Kambuki interview Madong in your to some the location board, some the Karega, the kind of Kuzu Dobli Dora, something is the only current reader Dora Doplo, and just interview the leaders my only matching into some to opposing law and the interview Loconze, the Gorgate and the Kyoji activity down, Lobsena, the Gorgate or Chiduesamba, and only am Lidio, and only the an activity called Laya. This is what it's hard to cut on the activity on the experience card so only that didn't manga or the
Timmo Countina Divora, the Namduka to the Tina Namguta Pool and the Timmo Vigota ended over Tina Divora.
Oh, audition to go team work the communication material, Chinagi the team location mura. I wanted to watch in a Yakursam.
And the Mixiki specific the YouTube sequel and the Mixi general term I by net that I so Chunang again Kesan Chugita and some is the Instagram the email thing on the Tisha when the email the follow up email was then some of the slide down to email the Tire and Kuanso Dina Longos with your opportunity some of the if you aren't able to ask question right now. Any Theologic connect mission for graduates, do you have to apply for tuition research rather than using Common App? I think the Hamas graduate school, the PG, I'm not sure if there's a Common App for grad school. I think I don't know if anyone, yeah, it's college specific. Quran, Tolo Quran's admission page la draw, and he applied to Kir.
Yeah, the common application, the undergraduate so the graduate application is someone on the college specific application and on the college the website that I consider graduate application the admissions is someone website the gong
Lots short on that.
UWC did Tiwachi so in the Rotida, so Mizen challenges card doles with Audi the Kuran car shings on the Rotida. The Mr. Mizen specific challenges connect dog on the theory. With the challenges lemina and connect dog on tears.
Anyone can answer this, I think.
Yeah. That the individual Europe is saying go Marta. Carlang 페이지 미 상말 로그인할 수도 강의 마트하시다 요 말씀 그대로 강의 춘주시에 제수를 네다 가르쳐 첨보라나 건조 갔다이나 경험치 강의 지체도 없도 강의 동네 한대 치도 디거 중시에도 개정 거스던 분들아 가능한 경험 강의직 체제네 다 제도다 말 샤워는 건조 통하점 일롭도 되는 디직 두비 치도음도 나야죠 안 롭롭론 체라데 믹스 콜레지도 롭 시링가는 배 주름 붙이도 아니 강의나 가리는 뭐 못해서라 제가 안에 공화도 콜레지도 롭도 담도 지단에 강에 태워가 동네 치토에 동도 치토하나 아니 펜도 답변에 강에 뒤로 차나 두고 벤체나 그냥 롭된 찍라 아니 겨자체 야구 말에 로 몽골이가 겨자 야구 말에 제 겨라게 깔 이제 파마다 보냐 이제 경하기 펜다 벤체 동인데도 오시나 그냥 디 롭된 데라 그냥 야게 나야지도 같이 타마 야게 땅토에나 다 야게 컨텐츠도 좀 동저라 Tinte jab ta pejun shawra hypothetical ra ta mi thama dong lo yu de ni chikse thu tang do ya shendan de nebe shue ya
ngaun dilo sam tanda kisi susoji activity ro shawa shina khaina ngema ngala chiwa endotis kare individual ngala sadingi tila anda ngazo lobdaji ngazo ta khalore kidin zoji the kale team doshta ondile lega shidu kuzu endolas inke the only team na lega shidu anke anda bod challenges to face chisule da khaina shina nima takba susu team me changma di dawa chikpa chiga yomara samsam yo di khalore the toporo short sirada and only the core lega china divorce with khaila only lega china ke ya di kare activity di chi lanni bi di hagui yo ya aningam du ke kangi kare di raso an kangi di khande solve chi only the means the kitchen ngi da jo an only kunzu de sima hagui ke the la and the shimbaro ya and main ta endo re kangi khando ji na bi yo ya kangi di la response khani chi da susu ji da tablam khardu te on ju kunze main ke shiro ji re an on di gang ke endo di kangi di kyola ya the one the soft research like killer impact cars the ke experience detonia the ke khare ha go suru and the one the jiga shin bi un kunje the ke di khalore the zum di di ya ko thongire and
네 가서 단다 UWCG 게라 원주 경아 지도다 먼저 부 applicant 팅이도 어디지도 게라 된저다 먼저 질러 주어로 인하다 질러 고아지 마크시트 된저때 아니 the selection 지도 요만 가서 좀 지겨들라 마 베스트 지레야 마크시트 마 베스트 지
nga yema apply shi da nga ju gela din ju endolas khare zum la manga te ri den la sya ine ngarang samju da haru samgi la china nga da zum da gejani sam da gejani gel ta gore samgi de ya ta su geja ya kalore chu dukja me ta ko yo china di gore ya an diga na su da kalore zum di ya ko che geja mo ber ya kan na china ngi ende gela ching an la ta las khare 인지 미지 계좌 보고 말이네 좀 약보 여가 지나야 아니 죽시리로 안도 레달레스 이네 아다 이게 계신 버렸습니다.
정말 준비되나요? 아니요, 얘기 좋아돼요. UWC나요. 파이널이요. 저 시트 저도요.
말 거나 저기 들라.
너 계산 치고
lo ko lo re sabi dia khaina sam di jinan gi ta logic la di nyungda la shi chudam gi ta ya ina samsam kare konje bu ya ni stewadam gi ya hana di horizon foundation ledger ta ya hondi nga ji lo dila nga bu shi dam re ya ina on chi ko mariang kare hande psychology scholarship da and scholarship lo da on din je bi and yang university di Norway la yang pyo bu logic la chik dam go ya on in them and the ganza da watching the logic la bu dun took dun sto ingiriya ina di lo da kwa number di this law logarithm gi ina nyungda la nga struksta yugir
The theology these are the what kind of scholarship should I apply to after 2020? Chidang nga zu de shirik in scholarship doto ti de beria GLA ya endemic se doto do nga zu list yue de can slide de calibrate de talk de chaw jela tangre in chidang kran su su une de research chu ki repetition tolop specific nga zu list of colleges yure in kunzu tingi lao nan shi de tolop changma ki ganza musu advertise chi ma kyo nga zu scholarship di you have to go and check it out in their website and also and if kisi tolop mixi again you have to find out if the tolop offers a need blind admission or need aware depending on that if you get into the school itself you don't have to pay right scholarships already as part of it because they're need blind they don't consider the financial aid in your application chesan the mixi ki manjula list of you will share right after this but in general again it's a lot of times it's doing the research go on internet Google you have to find out like international student for full financial aid lagwa na tira kinzi link lan
last one the dinner bit of chaos chidani college chamber roena pension need blind ro da kuntu roena ani college correct can apply chizon na kon college mangbo ra lo na lo automatically consider chingin de yo khase yo di atta go ke chamber sam gudura ani to de khalana scholarship mara na ta ngaju pe data ya puchi khalana kya ga lo tu re ra khalana ma to kya ga ni shu ko ra kya ga lo tu mangbo cheni undergrad kya ga lo to ani dine apply chu ra ni khonju ge ta ngi manage da mangbo de pe che lo da kiti scholarship kang da ragi mena an lo da la ga chini ani ngi sa chini te ro da dinde che an lo da ge ya khare micro loan ro ya lo sum tenga loan to te ro da ani an lo da la shue ra na kya ki lo ya wo che na merit scholarship lo da ki mate si ra on di da scholarship do da mangbo to to kan de shue na che re ya ta no to ke che shu khal lo wa google le ra khalana research that pay catch up da kyan lobra chipu mare chuma mi na laga chana re khogap chana re ani kyan lobjon chana re kharina ya google na research che ni research che to ana to jong ne ta thingda ma che na khabar re ta de lo le thama de thagya de pheje ya putang ko na ni le mang po ching zo yo ra shungi te ma ko so jong ne sa mang po sing re so
ngazoi mara UWC la ta so the enrolla the college UWC la da nga select chi da do yo I mean the so the dishi ga do la da nga khaji ni college nga select chi na khaji nya ko do yo means the any to china da I mean da nga mi shem pa le ya ga yo da nga di kon di ene do yo da khaina chi ga na so bo si sa nya to ni mara means so dishi ga na khaina so dishi ga to bo si sa nya ma to ma din de do
dida chwa the sune get to some de ya chik na
Большой мат통이야지도 그냥 단다 디 laptop으로 그냥 가래 집 지게든지 상마 din da kiran kandish che kale chok to jominda nga shuk chok to jominda dira shine ya oyore tanda kanjilo re this humble che chedo 심바 탄다 nga dindira raso an dindira raso 지골라난 디 보셔 사오 저도 아니네 심바 kiran kale chok to jobi 아니 디가라 강에 dindira this tena paint oyore kiran dumdi bola 강에 dinde yore 아니 강에 디 kandish yarke sötüsü kandish sobjo yoktusu an sobjo yokje ani to dindiraso achievement dindiraso an dindira deshe jumna ya oyore konzogi tanda di borsho sawa matongi achido kinangi tanda ngiela kinangi kange den zunyamdo dishe ore an kinangi kandish di achieve che ore beda dindira dis paint ore kinangi tanda problem di solve che an di solve che di tanda di yago dinde chetusu da dindira an kinangi nga yeah 신받으려고 이제
no I think like in Silan
nga te dila of the apatrisi boys ki chwa do apatrisi boys chwa yo loso chwa na wa
아니 당아서 아버지시네요. 아니 그래다 갈수에는 이다 망체다 단달라교 망체 그래 US 거래다 the US the Canada border kare defer card to sure le college application le yo TOEFL yana IELTS kandi applicable yo to le
yeah, kalshu something Canada ga je lobra khashe chi ra tanda kanju common app na ngi na teshe ga sa Canada college khashe je ni common app na yore tinde kyune ya Canada lobra apply china du go ya so khwala nda lungbo lo ra lungbo lo in the district ta kare culture na re kare district lo ga song du ni ta so de kalshu na nga tu ari ko khane ma sho na ari lobra chitani scholarship da khari na ya mga phyur khadena lobru mala ro ba chire Canada do da Europe do da apply china to go so do ne ya ne khoje khwa khana ngi rongin do this new art khadena ta so do ne this ma te ko ne da so ngondi ki khwa chik che na shinda ka so ro chinda da dharan ro khwa sang do ne lobra ma che ne khwa ni shu ne inji lobra inji na jang gi ni lob di khwa bi ro di khwa sang do
the opportunity or something.
The theology medical school specifically to I don't know if anyone has to add on to that medical school specific. Chita Dela Adi Dojna Mata Karasina, Manzo Jana medical school mix you are in a Dela Nata, you're in a undergraduate like you pre-med Mara. You can't directly apply to medical school, right? I don't know. Would you be like in terms of medical school, you have to obviously go through undergrad, do a pre-med, and then you go to medical school, right?
I'm unfamiliar with that, but I
Okay.
feel like if you, yeah.
No worries.
ngala singstaya ho thangbo for loshi pre-med and digela loshi medical school.
So
Yeah.
in that yeah.
Ari medical school tanda the MD ro so masters masters in sama tanda loshi store and the gama tanda undergraduate loshi jalare so undergraduate loshi la pre-med chere pre-med requisite tanda sama tiare tanda pre-med tanda zinda tanda sama ani medical school apply chitore kaji medical school tanda loshi la tanda konzo requirement tanda mango yore ani zinda tanda tiore pre-med zinda chemistry tanda dao sama nyam.
Entrance exam but that's after you do undergrad. Sorry, go on, Kinte.
No, deal out of the need the mix international bu khadu that paper chu mare lumba khan international na chitane ari ajim the medical school ma ari message to ran do re chitani on the international khatu apply chana khabo ro ta bench chana que samgi re ani lumba bongbo la jaga doctor to gami doctor to contest level samgi do khoto ma je jaga na re Kena na re lumba soto lumba khawa la ani the MBBS na re medical degree dite and adila residency chakal de or ya residency la na da khawa to ari todan shona pre-med ani medical school and the pre ani resident lo kha shura and di chena shine kha doctor chagor ya adila todan ro chena chedani jaga ma chena medical degree na and adila lokache residency show ki cheta digi khawar tum tu ani cheta international bu ma che doctor chena adila undergrad room ma che so to lumba la ani medical school do and dine ani specialized chibona ani china area apply chire
this led to
Sunda.
ye theo de khala na ya thanda UWC swed la so de khara chom le da an chom in de gobla chom thia kha kha zo ra an chom di khare inji da phing yi ge re ya inji chipor thon thia ra
yasa chu gi sung do this
좀 칼나 좀 topic 싫어 스티리아야 아니 어디강 좀 제리 좀 인지던 티오리 배우던 제야 말
Teaching I don't know the specifics, and the some Joshi Karalan, but you teaching Shedek scholarship basis no kunza application thing on the tion to thing to dinam current to form your dinam tion to ratungang. I mix it on top of my head. I don't know the exact questions, but definitely check that out.
오늘 안디로 섬스카레 달러지 유레브시에지 카레 애플리케이션 디 안다 오픈 데 온디 로 섬스 미하삼 nga디 ngazo 칼로리 ngabe 시자지 ngazo WhatsApp 조셔 라운디 라인 딩야마 혼절라 메시지 레다 코제 세라치 왔다 다 디유레브시 애플리케이션 달러지 디요르네요 온디 키시 안에 애플레 쉐데 보여시나요 아니 한다 드즈둘레 안 디간 시리가지 웹사이트 데 데드라인 카두거드레도 존 다나 코스는
Yeah. Again, I don't know if we the Tiwa Council lane get to me how much Tiwa Mutan Tang Sucheza then the company sums chain digital to train chedo in the ransamshana dear some good yani sani mutuning on to chita some tiagolani mixeki ni the color focus chen any kind of ture ni chida karatina ya wore ni admission office in the karkanam you expect here and the koran zum koran ko ya chi session jure teja ching mata yang karona sani de from the session chik chen the jama lama de la karona panel discussion minga thu chen dine mini si kunini가 de 야가라네 ni 예자 khala niga masuni pegimle to dine kunzu de arila apply chikyonre chesan titula mixigia 도바이나 생이 짐지 페로지 가이스 생이 패널 디스커션 콘솔랑 수 in the slide member che 콘솔 티어틸링 아주 나선 처리치 지다 크라운즈 프로세스 카데 두레링 강이 믹스 카르체 수니 망부지 크라운즈 페 릴레이터블 레슨 부디 페이지나 카운슬러 다니 레코멘데이션 레터 다니 콜엔 페이션 티어네 망불리리요 콘솔의 냠용 유여바 지레 지다 베김 랍단 로교요 인체선 생이 드린 티어 망부지 제니 레마 중나니 생이 짐페로 니 무투는 아주 중나딩 아주 정말 email address de channel solution akon to la to sum to nyam to ni email follow up chi and then look into the email address down slide de changma tangre che chan chamno de phe to ani kadin che ani sani nani che sani yong az mutu ne ni che yo en che sa tu che chamlo ngone ni mixe ki na de pegim lab dai ne re khane ne de lam doing gela mangbuji de phe sareng mutu ne ni de la phe to de ngone kadin che she ngone nganzu gi mi gi so di and 지단 카운트도 로고 체들이네 문에 로드 델레 마투나 아니야 렌데 파저 김도 제산 그런지 조델라니 그룹 진행을 간지 델레 도에 문에 간지
다음 카라빈다 파기야 파자
So I guess that's it for today. 제산이 그런지 칼리글리 페이션을 간주 I don't know if you want to stay for the rest of us the team for like 1-2 minutes and then yeah. Thank you, Tamlo. I guess we can stop recording as well.
Thank you.